Hari. Today I am going to teach you Unit 3rd for class 10th. Unit 3rd for class 10th. Two stories about flying. The second story, Black Aeroplane. This story is written by Frederick Forsyth. Frederick Forsyth was a great English writer. He wrote so many stories, and in this story he described about his flight, the Black Aeroplane. It is a very inspiring story for the students or the readers also. In the previous classes, I have already described about this extract, and today I continue my lecture. So I suggested all the students, to listen carefully. Paris control, can you hear me? There was no answer. The radio was dead too, and had no radio, no compass, and I could not see where I was. I was lost in the storm, then in the black clouds quite near me. I saw another aeroplane. It had no lights on its wings, but I could see it flying next to me through the storm. I could see the pilot's face turned towards me. I was very glad to see another person. He lifted one hand and wept. Through these lines, writer describes about himself. He was in the storm. He was in the black cloud, and in that time, his old plane Dakota, twisting in the black cloud, and he was very very frightened to face that type of situation. So he tried to consult Paris control room. And Paris control, can you hear me? He announced again and again, but no radio, no compass. The radio was dead too, and I had no radio, no compass, and I could not see where I was. The moment is very dangerous for the writer, and he lost in the storm. He lost in the storm. Then in the black clouds near me. In that period, no any sign of help found by the writer. He was helpless, and he remembered God, and that time he found an aeroplane in the sky, in the cloud. It had no light on its wing. The aeroplane had no light on its wing, but the writer saw the pilots of that aeroplane, and he turned and that aeroplane turned towards the writer, and writer was very glad to see the another person who lifted his one hand and wept, and he indicated writer to follow me. He was saying, follow me. He knows that I am lost. I thought he is trying to help me. In that time, I know about the situation. I am lost in the storm, but I thought That person, that pilot, tried to help me, and he turned his aeroplane slowly to the north and in front of my Dakota so that it would be easier for me to follow him. I was very happy to go behind the strange aeroplane like an obedient child. I have no any option, only one option left to follow that black aeroplane. After half an hour, the strange black aeroplane was still there in front of me in the cloud. After half an hour, I found that strange black aeroplane was still there in front of me in the cloud, and now there was only enough fuel in the old Dakota's last tank to fly for 5 or 10 minutes more. When I remembered about the fuel, then I found only 5 to 10 minutes more flying. I was starting to feel frightened again, but then he started to go down and I followed through the storm. Suddenly, I came out of the cloud and saw two long straight lines of lights in front of me. It was a runway, an airport. I was safe, and I turned to look for any friend in the black aeroplane. But the sky was empty, there was nothing there. The black aeroplane was gone. I could not see it anywhere. Through these lines, poet describes about that strange black aeroplane. After some minutes, writer was out of the storm and he tried to know about that black aeroplane, but the black aeroplane was not in the sky. The sky is totally empty on that time, and writer found long straight lines of lights, that is the aerodrome, and his airport was totally his plane was totally safe, and writer turned to look for that pilot of black aeroplane, but the sky was totally empty, nothing was there. The black aeroplane was disappeared in the sky, and I could not see anything anywhere. When I landed and was not sorry to walk away from the old Dakota near the control tower, I went and asked a woman in the control center where I was and who the other pilot was. I wanted to say thanks you. She looked at me very strangely and then laughed. The writer was landed on that platform. He was not very sorry to walk from the old Dakota. He approaches near the control room tower, and writer went in the control room. There he found a old woman, and he asked about the black aeroplane, about the pilot, and he said, I wanted to thank that pilot, but that lady looked at very strangely and then she laughed. Another aeroplane up there in this storm. No other aeroplanes were flying tonight. Yours was the only one I could see on the radar. That lady, that lady said to the writer in the stormy weather, no any aeroplane flying in the sky. Your aeroplane is the only one that I could see on the radar. So who helped me to arrive there safely without a compass or a radio and without any more fuel in my tanks? Who was the pilot on the strange black aeroplane flying in the storm without light? And it is a question for the writer, and he tried to meet that strange pilot, but there was no any aeroplane or no pilot he found. And he thought about the situation, and he thought about the pilot, the strange man, and who helped me, and who was the pilot, and who helped me in the flying in the storm without light. So it is really a very strange story for the writer. A writer wanted to give a message for the reader or the listeners also, and he wanted to say, if you have courage to do anything in that time, God must help you. So you you store your courage for the work. Today I want to stop my lecture, but I suggest all the students, you must try to write the answer of questions that is given in your textbook, question 1 to 5, and you also try to answer, think about language. These are the important questions for you, and you feel any type of problem, any type of difficulty to answer these questions, then you consult me and I try to satisfy you. Thanks.